and welcome to the Inland Sports Show, live and amplified every single Wednesday night at 6 o'clock, and a lot of high school football once again as we head into the CIF Southern Section quarterfinals. My name's Pep Fernandez, and the Mike's Fitness Equipment Studio looking a little bit different today. We are on the road. We are on the road with Thee Rancho Verde High School as the Mustangs are looking to get back into the CIF Southern Section Division II finals. We'll talk Mustang football. We're also going to check in with a live interview with Carter head coach Justin Randall. The Lions are at home for Temecula Valley in the Division VII playoffs, so we'll have a preview on that game. We'll also talk California Baptist and UC Riverside basketball a little bit later in the show. But we appreciate you tuning in. If you haven't already, make sure you hit subscribe to the Inland Sports YouTube channel. We've got over 1 million views and counting now, so we appreciate all that support out there in the Inland Empire. A lot of high school football. Again, on the road, live at Thee Rancho Verde High School as the Mustangs are getting set for their second round, their quarterfinal game. Join us live in studio, the quarterback of the Mustangs, A.J. Duffy, and the tailback, Jordan Jefferson. And before we get into it, guys, I got to do this. A.J., what are those? You're wearing Crocs, man. Is that listen, I'm not Mr. Style, but are those back in style? Are Crocs cool?
I mean, I guess, but we just wear them because we can't wear slides at school. It's the most comfortable thing.
They do look comfortable, and I'm kind of a Marvel nerd, so I see Wolverine over there. You got some Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Jordan, are they cool, or would you rock Crocs?
I ain't gonna lie, I got a few pair of my own.
You got Crocs?
I got a few pair of my own. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Oh man, Crocs are making a comeback. We need them as a sponsor here on the show.
I'm gonna have to get you a pair.
If you get me a pair, I'll rock them on this show with you guys. We'll have the Crocs show. Is that a deal?
That's a deal.
All right, guys. Huge win against Sarah, which we're going to get to in a second as well. But also looking ahead now to your quarterfinal matchup on the road at San Clemente this coming week. AJ, I'll start with you because I remember last year in that Division II championship game when you guys played Upland, you were hurt. You didn't have a chance to play in it. Now the Mustangs are here back in the playoffs. How important is it for you to lead this team back to the finals and get a shot to win a championship and have a chance to actually play a part in it and help your team?
It's super important. We've been working hard. It's not me as a team. We're working hard in the weight room, off season and in season now, just to get to the finals. That's our goal, and win it. Yeah.
And Jordan, I mean, you guys always have great receivers at Rancho Verde, and you've got a couple really good ones this year as well. But in the running game, I mean, everything's kind of built around the running game. You got to be able to run the football. Talk about what you've been able to do on the ground this season.
We have a great O-line, and they just set me up for great plays. They set up the run game, they set up the pass game to be good, and they just know I could kind of, get around if they could give me a few blocks, and I'm make it do it happen. And just thanks to them the season that I'm having.
Now, going back to the Sarah game, you had the game-winning touchdown in overtime. I had some friends at the game, and they're like, man, it shouldn't have been that close. Yeah. Jordan, what did you guys learn in that first-round playoff game? You got the win in overtime. You survive in advance. But what did you guys learn in that game maybe that you can help going forward and be like, okay, we're not going to make this mistake again. We're going to clean this up. We're going to be better for it now.
Just blocking and catching the ball. We had a few missed blocks that kind of messed up. And, we had some receivers dropping a pass. I dropped the pass and then led it to get pick six. And that's just a few mental mistakes that we just got to fix and hopefully take on to the next round.
How about you, AJ? What did you guys figure out in that game?
We just figured that we have to play as a team, and we have to play 4 quarters. In playoffs, it's going to get tougher. We have to keep the same intensity for 4 quarters.
Now, I was talking to you a little bit off camera that, you have San Clemente coming up now in the quarterfinals for Division II, and your dad has some history against San Clemente when he was coaching at Murrieta Valley just a couple of years ago. Without giving away all his secrets and knowledge about San Clemente, but he must know some things and have some knowledge, right, going in this matchup? Yeah,
I feel like we've watched a lot of film as a team and as personally, and I just feel like we're ready for them. I feel like we watched film. We have a good idea what we think they're going to do on Friday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, I hate to look too far ahead, but, Upland could be a semifinal game. You could see them again, but first things first, you got to beat San Clemente on Friday. But Jordan, even going back to last year, how much of that experience of getting to the finals and coming up just a little bit short, how much did that fuel this year's team?
That just left a big chip on our shoulder. Of course, just to get there, we do have to beat San Clemente one step at a time. But if we do end up making it to the finals, we're just going to have to be ready and have a great game plan to come out with a win and hopefully to win a championship.
Now, AJ, I've talked to your dad about, playoff runs and championships, and obviously he had a great run at Rancho here, then he left for a couple years. Now he's back, and he's pretty much picked up where he left off here with the Mustangs. But when you guys go home, is it all football? Is it like on the drive home, around the dinner table, is it all football?
No. It's not all football. We do a lot of football film. It's just extra hours just to put in. But he's a cool guy. Hang out, watch TV, Netflix. Just hang out, go to the mall.
All right, let's not throw your dad under the bus, but what's his guilty pleasure on Netflix? If your dad's like, you know what, I've done all my film homework, I broke down the matchup, I feel good about the game, I'm going to relax for 1 hour, I'm going to take 60 minutes and just watch my show. I'm taking the TV controller and I'm watching Netflix.
I think Narcos, probably.
That's his show?
Yeah, that right there.
What's your show if you have the TV controller?
I'm not a big TV guy. I play the game mostly.
Okay.
Yeah, like Fortnite, 2K, all that stuff.
Staying up late buying Crocs online, right?
Yeah.
What's your guilty pleasure on TV, Jordan?
I'm saying with me, I'm not really big on TV. I do play video games, Madden, 2K, Fortnite. So yeah, that's my go-to right there. That's my go-to.
Jordan, what do you think are the keys on Friday night against San Clemente? What do you guys have to do well as a team? And if you do those things well, you think you've got a good shot of getting that W?
Of course, starting with the defense, they set the tone a lot. Our defense is like really, we have a really great defense, a defensive staff and what they're doing with themselves. And our offense just has to come out with fire because we kind of was like shaky a little bit. We didn't really get somewhat done, but I feel like it's going to have to start with our linemen to protect the QB and on pass and, doing the run game. It's going to come down to them.
AJ, can you kind of maybe say that Sarah game in the first round, you guys won in overtime, but maybe kind of a wake-up call, like, guys, we got to get our act together or we're not going to be around very long? Yeah,
the speed of play in that game I feel like we were ready for it, but we weren't ready to come out there like that. But we picked it up right away.
Let's go back to that Norco game because, man, that was like one of the biggest games of the Inland Empire. We were all fired up about it, and you guys were able to go on the road to Norco, and that was a decisive win. If there was a turning point in the season, was that Norco game a turning point? Was there any games or moments this year when you're like, okay, we're legit, we're gonna have a good year? For you, AJ, I'll go to you next, Jordan.
Oh, the Norco game for sure. That was when I feel like we came together on offense, we came together on defense, we just came together as a team right there. All our hard work just started to pay off right there.
Yeah. How about you, Jordan?
Yeah, I was, we was all talking. We was like, they scheduled us on their homecoming. And
was their homecoming too?
Yeah, it was their homecoming. They put us for their homecoming. And, we was all just talking like they can't, they think we just an average Rancho team. But, that's kind of what set the tone, and that's when we came out and did what we had to do.
Yeah, because there were some good seniors on this Rancho Verde team last year that they, that you guys lost. Yeah, great seniors, and that's always kind of the question mark is like, are the Mustangs going to bounce back? Are they still that good? You feel like, AJ, you guys had something to prove maybe early on in the season, like, hey guys, we're still the Rancho Verde. Don't worry about us.
We had a lot to prove this year because we probably lost 10 seniors, 10 starters, and so we're a young team and we just came out. We had the ball this year regardless.
And Jordan, I mean, you had Xavier Ugorgi, in the backfield, and there's been some great Mustang running backs, and now you're the premier guy, the featured back. But I mean, even going back to last year, I mean, that was a great senior class for the Mustangs.
Yeah, and the X, he was a real great running back. At practice, I was like kind of behind him, watching, learning. I learned a lot from him too. So I think him too. He taught me a lot. I learned a lot, and it's helped me with this season.
Well, it's going to be a big game, Division II quarterfinals, Rancho Verde on the road at San Clemente. And guys, we're here live at Rancho Verde TV, RVTV, the Thundering Herd with the one and only Steve Brockman. Let us take our show on the road here. We haven't done a lot of shows on the road for the Inland Sports Show, but we appreciate them rolling out the red carpet for us, literally the red carpet here at Rancho Verde High School. But guys, sit tight because I want to punch up our Inland Sports football rankings. And Johnny, let's get those up. I know they can't necessarily see them here in the studio, but we've got the Mustangs coming in at number 2 in our Inland Sports Great 8 and 4 more rankings. Oh, there they are, guys. We got Centennial at 1. That's kind of hard to argue against, right? But we got Rancho Verde at 2, followed by Cajon, Norco, Kaiser, San Jacinto, and Temecula Valley. Our 4 more, Citrus Valley, Aquinas, Heritage, and Murrieta Valley. And our who's next, it's actually North and Norte Vista. And so that's how our rankings look this week. We're going to shut them down once we we get to the round of the CIF Southern Section Championship games. But right now, I mean, when you guys beat Norco and you beat Heritage, pretty much cemented your spot, at number 2. We'd have to have Centennial really take a nosedive, which hasn't really happened this year. So, but there's Rancho Verde coming in at number 2, and Cajon is still alive in the playoffs. Kaiser is playing San Jacinto head-to-head, so that's a huge game coming up that we're going to talk about a little bit later in the show. So, but we got the Mustangs at number 2 coming in at 10-1 overall on the season. So back here live in the studio here at RVTV, do you guys think about the 10 wins or that one loss, the one that got away? I mean, because a lot of great athletes will think about, I think about the pass that I couldn't complete as opposed to all of them I did complete, or the touchdown, Jordan, that you could have had instead of like the 5 or 6 that you did have. I mean, do you guys try not to dwell on what could have been and more like the positives that you had in the game, AJ?
We like look at the positives, we look at them, we acknowledge them, but we focus on the negatives to turn them into positive mostly. So yeah, we look at the negatives a lot.
They always say the most successful people aren't afraid to fail, right? Like you got to take those chances and learn from those mistakes. You kind of feel that same way, Jordan?
Yeah, the wins are okay, but when we lose, that's a little worse on that side.
But it's a learning experience, right? Like if you can learn from it, it's not such a bad thing. All right, now let's go to our spoiled slick play of the week. And of course, it comes from Thee Rancho Verde game. It couldn't be anything else this week, right? When you score a game-winning touchdown in overtime, it's going to be our spoiled slick play of the week. Steve Brockman hooking us up with the video. This was it. This was in overtime against Sarah, tied at 20, and Jefferson walks right in. And that is your game-winning touchdown as people were going nuts. And Jordan, was that kind of a happiness, a sense of relief? What was going on in your mind right there?
That was a little bit of both. I'm not gonna lie, that was a little bit of both.
That was a big win against Sarah at home, 26-20 in overtime. Our spoiled slick play of the week as the Mustangs are moving on. They will take on San Clemente in the CIF Southern Section Division II quarterfinals this Friday. And hopefully, guys, we'll still be talking Mustang football come next week, and hopefully a trip to the semifinals. So appreciate it. AJ, appreciate it. Jordan, thank you guys. Next time, all Crocs, an all Crocs show, right?
All Crocs.
We'll do it.
I'm about to get you a pair. I'm going to get you a pair.
I'm going to hold you to that, Jordan. All right, appreciate it, guys. When we come back here on the Inland Sports Show, we'll talk more high school football. We've got Carter head coach Justin Randall joining us live. We'll be right back.
What's going on, guys? This is Ray Bass from Boost Performance Training. You're watching the Inland Sports Show with the one and only Pep Fernandez.
The Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Spoiled. Quick, quality oil change. Spoil yourself and your car at Spoiled. Kin Sporting Goods. They have all of your sporting gear needs, Letterman's jackets, and team uniforms. Boost Performance Training with Coach Ray Bass. Athletes of all levels and all sports are going to Boost Performance Training in Corona. Mike's Fitness Equipment. Check out the new storeroom on La Cadena. Quality fitness equipment at affordable prices. Mike's Fitness Equipment. And JoJo's Grill-A-Dog, located in the Mountain Grove Shopping Center in Redlands. Let's be frank, not all dogs are created equal. JoJo's Grill-A-Dog.
I would say the one thing that we stress more than anything else is service to our customer. Make sure that they're taking care of whatever you can do to make sure that that order gets to them on time and it's the right quality and what they want. I've been that way since 1976. That was my goal, to reach out to local sports programs, and it's grown from there, and we've been very, very fortunate. My grandson is right over here. He's working for us, and he's going to college right now, and that's exactly what my son did 20-some years ago, and it keeps on going, you know. We have customers that come in the store that it's amazing. People that I haven't been here since I was a little kid, and I used to come in here all the time. And then now I'm bringing my son in here, or a grandpa that's bringing his grandson in here that came in here when we first opened back in '76. We just feel so fortunate to have been a part of this community and this Inland Empire for going into our 44th year now, and it's just been a blessing.
Billy here from Spoiled in Riverside. Just opened up our new location off the 91 in Arlington and Riverside. Come check us out and get spoiled for a change.
Welcome back to the Mike's Fitness Equipment Studio. It's the Inland Sports Show.
And welcome back to the Inland Sports Show, live and amplified at the Mike's Fitness Equipment Studio. And it looks a lot different because we're on the road this week at Rancho Verde High School. Big thanks to RVTV. Steve Brockman and his entire team letting us use their television studio this week as we have a very special football playoff edition. And one of the biggest games in the Inland Empire going down this week in the quarterfinals. You can find it in Division 7. It's the Carter Lions taking on the Temecula Valley Golden Bears. Joining us live on the show right now, the head coach at Carter, Justin Randall. And Coach Randall, man, big win against Elsinore in that opener, a shootout. Do you feel like the Lions are hitting their stride right now in the postseason?
I mean, I think we are. I think, I think we won, 4 out of our last 5, something like that. And, our kids are just playing really well right now. Offensively, we're moving the ball. Last week was a shootout for a defensive guy like me. We don't like that very much. But, hey, survive and move on, baby. That's all it's about in the playoffs. Survive and move on.
Well, Coach, I don't know how much. I know it's getting towards Friday. You kind of break down video and come up with a game plan for the Golden Bears. Bert Esposito traditionally likes to throw the ball, and they score a lot of points. But this year they've got a great running back in Brody Hughes. What do you think of Temecula Valley? What you've studied so far?
Oh, they're great, man. Bert does a great job. All 3 aspects of the game: special teams, offense, defense. I mean, defensively, they're tough. I think they defensively don't get enough credit. But yeah, they got some dudes, man. I mean, they're huge up front. They got skill guys up the yin yang. Got a great quarterback, and of course, that running back's a beast. I love the kid. He runs downhill hard. It's gonna be a tough test. I think I'm 0-5 against Bert. Playing, I think twice I played against them and 3 times I coached against them. I'm 0-5, so hopefully we can get that one that counts this Friday night coming up.
0-5, but who's counting, right?
Yeah, right. Who's counting? Who's counting, right?
Well, Coach, I mean, you had a good non-league. Citrus Belt is always tough. Do you feel like that was all in preparation for this moment now in the postseason to get you ready for this run?
Yeah, I think so. I think we played a great preseason, playing Serrano, Etowanda, Colony, guys like that. And then, I really think the kids started to hit their stride after Cajon when we got our butts just, pummeled against those guys. We kind of came together as a team like, hey, how strong enough are we going to be? Are we going to go down this road again like we did last year and go 2-8 now instead of 1-9? So, the kids responded. We beat Ukaipa, then we lost a tough one against Citrus Valley, and then we kind of just kept rolling after that. And, the kids done a great job. But, yeah, I definitely think the CBL's definitely got us ready.
Yeah, Coach, the hardest part sometimes is just making the playoffs, finishing high enough in your league to get in. And we know the CBL was so tough with Cajon, and after that it was kind of wide open. We've seen the rise of Citrus Valley. We've seen the rise of you guys, the Carter Lions. You got into the playoffs. Now you're in Division 7, and I look at the brackets. I feel like anything could happen now.
Yeah, I think Division 7, I think no one's won a championship as of last year. I don't think anyone won a championship. So it's kind of wide open. It's a new division. It's tough. It's competitive. I love it. There's a lot of great football tradition in our division. And, Temecula Valley, Bert's done a great job, building that thing up. And, it's going to be a tough test on Friday.
So, Coach, going into that Elsinore game in the first round, and you guys got that big win on the road, scoring close to 60 points. Did you see that in the future? If you were trying to predict what was going to happen, did you think your team was going to post close to 60 points?
When I was messing with my offensive guys all week, I said, hey, Coach, how much you need to score? I said, hey, man, we're going to need like 55. And, they took it to home. I mean, they took it to heart, because, the wing team, man, they do a great job. They do a great job. Everyone's getting the ball in that offense. And, I think we got maybe 1 or 2 stops on them, and that just made the difference. I think they were just chasing us, that 10-point lead. They just kept chasing us, and we just kept scoring. Offense kept just capitalizing. So, yeah, I mean, it was a tough physical game. Their kids played their butts off. That running back, number 37's just a monster.
Yeah, Badimana.
Badimana, I love that kid. Defensively, they play tough. They got big linemen up front. I mean, just physical football. And I think, like we talked about earlier, the CBL did get us ready, because it's physical. CBL, people I think don't really realize we got a lot of great skill players, but we got a lot of great linemen too. And so it's physical at the CBL. So it really got us ready.
So, Coach, going down to Elsinore, which is always, never an easy place to try to get a win, especially in the playoffs, and the way that Tony Peralta likes to play that, again, the wing team, they're physical. Did that maybe build some confidence for your team, knowing that they could go on the road and beat a team like Elsinore, and maybe build some of that confidence, some of that momentum now going into this game against Temecula Valley?
Yeah, I think it did. Like I always tell my kids, my first day I got here, if you want to be a playoff team, you got to win games on the road. You got to win tough games on the road, and Elsinore is the toughest place to play. I think I was at Colony 06, 07 as a player, and, we beat them in the finals. So that was the last time I was there. So it was kind of different. I was kind of in my element because I've been there before. But, yeah, our kids did a phenomenal job, and they did a great job of, on the road. It's tough to play there.
Well, Coach, finally, are you predicting another shootout, or are you going to have to score maybe close to 60 points and get a win? How do you see this matchup with the Golden Bears?
I don't know, man. I mean, I think we got a really good offense. They got a really good offense. We got a good defense. I think they got a really good defense. I mean, let's turn off the lights on this. But yeah, so I think it's gonna be a close game. I don't think it's gonna. Hopefully, it's not 60 to 62 or something like that. But it's gonna be a tough game. Bert, like I said, Bert does a great job. You gotta get ready for all 3 aspects of the game. Special teams, offense, and defense. So we're looking forward to it.
Well, Coach, with your Carter hat and your big, beautiful beard, I mean, all we can see is cheeks and eyes and teeth right now.
I know, right? Cheeks, eyes, and teeth, right?
Well, Coach, we appreciate the time. Best of luck on Friday. We'll have a camera out there for coverage on Sports Weekly Live on IEMG and, of course, here on the Inland Sports Show. But we do appreciate the time. They're turning out the lights. Why don't you go get home?
Yeah, I appreciate it. All right, Pep, you have a good one, buddy.
You too. That's Coach Justin Randall, the head football coach for the Carter Lions here on the Inland Sports Show. We always appreciate the time. time with him. And yes, it's going to be a big one for the Carter Lions coming up against Temecula Valley this Friday in the CIF Southern Section Division 7 quarterfinals. Now, the Golden Bears and the Lions, one of those premier all Inland Empire matchups we have in the quarterfinals. And there's not a whole lot. We always have a couple of those IE versus IE school matchups. And another one of the good ones is also our Kin Sporting Goods must-see game of the week, and that would be none other than Kaiser versus San Jacinto. This is going to be a huge game. In fact, it feels like a CIF championship game, but we're getting spoiled. We're getting it in the quarterfinals, the Division 6 quarterfinals. Kaiser undefeated at 11-0, taking their show on the road to the Jack, as they call it, San Jacinto. So cats and tigers, paw prints all over the place, and it's our Kin's Sporting Goods must-see game of the week. Now, this Kaiser versus San Jacinto game also features two of the top quarterbacks that we have in our area. We got highlights of both of them. We're talking about San Jacinto QB Kajia Holloway, and also on the Kaiser side, Trey Tribble. So between Tribble and Holloway, two of the most athletic and accurate quarterbacks that we have in the Inland Empire, and they will be going head-to-head. Listen, there's a lot of great players in this game on both sides of the football, offense and defense, but when you look at this matchup, it's hard not to focus on those two quarterbacks in Holloway and Tribble. So if you're looking for a contest where a quarterback might decide the game, look no further than this one, San Jacinto and Kaiser, as Kajia Holloway and Trey Tribble will duel in the quarterfinals. The winner will move on to the semis in Division 6. So that's going to be a fantastic matchup that we're fired up about. And we will have highlights and interviews from Kaiser and San Jacinto this Friday night on Sports Weekly Live. So that's one of those matchups in Division 6, but we have another local team still alive and in the hunt, very much so, for that Division 6 CIF title. And it's also our Mike's Fitness Equipment Athlete of the Week. Let's roll this out because he had a huge game in the first round of the playoffs. It's Blackhawks quarterback Dylan Wheatley, and he had 6 touchdowns and nearly 400 yards in that game against Silverado. Listen, this game was pretty close at halftime. In fact, I think it was 21-21. Now I think about it, Citrus Valley stepped on the gas and they never looked back in the second half, and Dylan Wheatley was a huge reason why. Completed half his passes, but they were all huge passes. Jordan Scott, Benton, they all had huge games at receiver because Dylan Wheatley was spreading that ball around, and that offense got it cracking for head coach Kurt Brook in the second half. Dylan Wheatley's our Mike's Fitness Equipment Athlete of the Week. 6 touchdowns, nearly 400 yards in that win against Silverado, as Citrus Valley is now going on the road to take on Pacifica of Oxnard in the D6 quarterfinal. So we are actually going to be on the road with the Blackhawks. So Friday night on Sports Weekly Live, we will have highlights of Citrus Valley and Pacifica. So make sure you check it out on IEMG. That's Friday night, 11 o'clock. We'll have video highlights of Dylan Wheatley, our Mike's Fitness Equipment Studio Athlete of the Week. And we'll see if the Citrus Valley Blackhawks can move on in the D6 playoffs. If they can move on, that Kaiser-San Jacinto game is on the opposite side of the bracket. So if we had an all-local, all-Inland Empire final, it wouldn't happen till the finals, right? So Kaiser and San Jacinto on one side, Citrus Valley on the other. And congratulations again to Dylan Wheatley, our Mike's Fitness Equipment Athlete of the Week. When we come back here on the Inland Sports Show, more high school football. We've also got some college football news from RCC, SBVC, and the University of Redlands. We'll be back on the one and only Inland Sports Show.
This is Alexander Madison. You're watching the Inland Sports Show.
What's going on, guys? Coach Bass here. We're here at the new Boost Performance Center here at 500 Harrington Street in Corona, California. We got a bigger space, more room for strength training, speed training, everything our athletes need. We got our student athletes here getting their studying done. So some of the different things we're going to be offering here at the new Boost Performance Center is really focusing on recovery, whether that be physical therapy or active recovery with yoga. We're also going to be offering nutrition classes for the general public. So really taking a more well-rounded approach to fitness for athletes, of course. Come check us out at our new facility. We're going to be opening soon. Can't wait to have you guys here.
Riverside. Just opened up our new location off the 91 in Arlington and Riverside. Come check us out and get spoiled for a change.
The Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Spoiled. Quick, quality oil change. Spoil yourself and your car at Spoiled. Kin Sporting Goods. They have all of your sporting gear needs, Letterman's jackets, and team uniforms. Boost Performance Training with Coach Ray Bass. Athletes of all levels and all sports are going to Boost Performance Training in Corona. Mike's Fitness Equipment. Check out the new storeroom on La Cadena. Quality fitness equipment at affordable prices. Mike's Fitness Equipment. And JoJo's Grill-A-Dog, located in the Mountain Grove Shopping Center in Redlands. Let's be frank, not all dogs are created equal. JoJo's Grill-A-Dog. Welcome back to the Mike's Fitness Equipment Studio. It's the Inland Sports Show.
And welcome back to the Inland Sports Show at the Mike's Fitness Equipment Studio. And we're taking our show on the road. We are here live at Thee Rancho Verde High School, a very special football playoff edition of the Inland Sports Show as the Mustangs are in the Division II quarterfinals. Got to thank RVTV, the TV class here at Rancho Verde High School, and Steve Brockman for rolling out the red carpet, welcoming the Inland Sports Show to their school so we can have this live coverage on the show. Again, nobody covers high school football like us. And we do appreciate them helping us out because, hey, Rancho Verde set up to have a big postseason run. Big game, though, on Friday on the road at San Clemente, which will not be easy. That's Division II. In Division 10, listen, we've got 3 local teams that could win a CIF Southern Section Championship, including the reigning champions Eisenhower. We also have 2 Riverside schools, Norta Vista and JW North. Now, let's check out some highlights of Norta Vista because I always like to look ahead. What is in the future here? And for Norta Vista, let's say Norta Vista wins on the road at Simi Valley this week, which I think they will. And let's say JW North wins this Friday at home against Orange, and I think they will. We could have a North versus Norta Vista semifinal. I mean, they would shut down the city of Riverside if we could get that. But both teams have to win on Friday. They have already done the coin flips. So if this was to happen, the home team in that game would be the Norta Vista Braves. So if North and Novi both win, Novi would be at home in the semifinals against North. Man, that would be a huge matchup. But first things first, they both got to win on Friday. If they don't win on Friday, none of this matters. But here on the Inland Sports Show, we always like to look ahead. What are the possibilities? What are on the horizon? And we could have a North versus Novi semifinal in Division 10. Well, back here live in the studio, we go from Division 10. Now we go to Division 8, and San Gorgonio and Notre Dame still alive in the Division 8 playoffs. And as we look ahead to see what's on the horizon, we could have a San Gorgonio versus Notre Dame semifinal game in Division 8. We've got some highlights of Notre Dame from this past Friday. The Titans were taking on, well, the Titans. It was a clash of the Titans as Notre Dame was playing Grand Terrace at SBVC, San Bernardino Valley College. And it was Notre Dame winning 21-14. And San Gorgonio, man, they had a battle on their hands in their game as they barely advanced 25-21 in their first round playoff game. So San G advanced, Notre Dame advanced. If they both win this week, and it'll be Notre Dame going on the road to Sunny Hills, and San G will be back home for the second straight week. But if they both win on Friday in Division 8, they would play in the Division 8 semifinals, and that coin flip has already taken place as well. And if that San G versus Notre Dame game happened, Notre Dame would be the home team, which would mean another game at San Bernardino Valley College. So that could be another interesting all-local semifinal game. But again, when you look at the big picture, first things first, you got to win on Friday to give us that chance to have an all-Inland Empire game coming up in the semifinals. But Notre Dame fending off Grand Terrace in that opening round 21-14, and it was a close game as as the Titans were able to beat the other Titans in that game in the opening round. But now the quarterfinals, you win, you advance, and you can set up another all-local game in the Inland Empire in the semis if they can make that happen. Now, real quick also, here's some other possible semifinal games because they have done the coin flips already for the semifinals. But again, this doesn't matter if you don't win on Friday. But if they win, here's the semifinal matchup. We could have Rancho Verde at Upland. Upland would be the home team if we got a rematch in Division 2. We told you San G would be at Notre Dame. North would be at Novi. And if Orange Vista and Moreno Valley both win in Division 12, they would meet in the semifinals, and it would be Orange Vista at Moval if they both win on Friday. That's a possible semi-final matchup. So we'll have to see who wins, who advances, but we always want to look ahead and see what's on the horizon. Speaking of what's on the horizon, as we shift to college football, RCC will take on Saddleback this weekend on the road at Saddleback. Both teams are 9-0, and the Tigers will run into a name that we've talked about lots on this show. In fact, he's been our guest several times. That's former Paloma Valley High School quarterback Chance Nolan. He's now the quarterback at Saddleback, and he will be leading them against RCC. Both teams, probably top 2, 3, 4 teams in the entire nation, let alone competing for a state championship. But it'll be Saddleback and RCC this Saturday. Winner wins the conference. Winner probably also the number 1 team in the nation going into the state playoff. So a huge, huge game for RCC and Saddleback coming up this weekend. We've also got some video from San Bernardino Valley College this past weekend as SBVC is rolling right along in the American Mountain Division. They look like the team to beat again, and they probably will be. And what happened, though, was SBVC got a big win against Victor Valley. So they're still undefeated in American Mountain Division play. They've only got 1 loss on the season. They look like they're in good shape to defend their title and get back to that conference championship. But the caveat here, and you're about to see it because we had it live on IEMG. You can watch the entire game on the IE Media Group YouTube channel right now. You can go back and watch the entire game. But quarterback Jeremy Musa out of Roosevelt High School injured in the 3rd quarter, and he would leave the game. He would head to the sidelines. They would wrap his lower left leg around the ankle area. And again, I'm not a doctor. I just play one on this show. But it looked like his lower left leg, and they took him away. And I still have not received an update on his status. But I think it's safe to say that when SBVC wraps up the season at College of the Desert this Saturday, Jeremy Musa will not be out there. I think they're just hoping that he can maybe come back for the conference game, championship game, assuming they make it, which it looks like they'll be playing Chaffee College. They appear to be on a collision course with Chaffee, but they got to win against College of the Desert, I would think, this Saturday. But, man, a tough loss. Jeremy Musa, one of our favorite guys in the entire world. To see him go down, man, it was tough to see on IEMG. We're hoping and praying that he's going to bounce back and be good as new. But, again, we don't know the severity of that injury. And finally, University of Redlands playing on the road at Occidental this Saturday afternoon, 1 o'clock, which you can listen to that game on our good friends at 1490 AM. KMET Mitch McClellan will have the call. And according to our good friend Vinny Fazio, who's the color analyst for Bulldog football, he thinks that if the University of Redlands can win on the road at Occidental this Saturday, even though they will not win the SCIAC, it looks like it's going to be Chapman if Chapman just wins out, that they could still get a playoff game, and not only a playoff game, but maybe even to host a game at the Ted Runner Stadium. So, man, it's a huge weekend for local college football. RCC against Saddleback, both teams undefeated. SBVC needing to win out against College of the Desert and maybe not having Jeremy Musa. And then the University of Redlands trying to punch their ticket to a postseason game in Division 3. A lot going on right now. All right, we come back on the Inland Sports Show at the Mike's Fitness Equipment Studio. We're going to wrap things up. We're going to touch on a little bit of local college basketball before we send you into the weekend. You're watching the Inland Sports Show.
This is Centennial High School football coach Matt Logan. You're watching the Inland Sports Show.
The Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Spoiled. Quick, quality oil change. Spoil yourself and your car at Spoiled. Kin Sporting Goods. They have all of your sporting gear needs, Letterman's jackets, and team uniforms. Boost Performance Training with Coach Ray Bass. Athletes of all levels and all sports are going to Boost Performance Training in Corona. Mike's Fitness Equipment. Check out the new storeroom on La Cadena. Quality fitness equipment at affordable prices. Mike's Fitness Equipment. And JoJo's Grill-A-Dog, located in the Mountain Grove Shopping Center in Redlands. Let's be frank, not all dogs are created equal. JoJo's Grill-A-Dog.
I would say the one thing that we stress more than anything else is service to our customer. Make sure that they're taking care of whatever you can do to make sure that that order gets to them on time and it's the right quality and what they want. I've been that way since 1976. That was my goal, to reach out to local sports programs, and it's grown from there, and we've been very, very fortunate. My grandson is right over here. He's working for us, and he's going to college right now, and that's exactly what my son did 20-some years ago, and it keeps on going, you know. We have customers that come in the store that it's amazing. People that I haven't been here since I was a little kid, and I used to come in here all the time. And then now I'm bringing my son in here, or a grandpa that's bringing his grandson in here that came in here when we first opened back in '76. We just feel so fortunate to have been a part of this community and this Inland Empire for going into our 44th year now, and it's just been a blessing.
So here at the Boost Alternative School for Student Athletes, we provide a collegiate experience for our students. They study here, they train here, balancing that student-athlete life. And it's a great experience. I recommend for anyone who's serious about their student and athlete life. So because we're a small private school, we're really able to bring a lot of technology to our students. So we're able to provide a lot of what you wouldn't find at your typical public school. We really feel like we're on the cutting edge of education and on sports development as well. So whether it be recovery or just their strength and speed development, you can find it here at the new Boost Performance Center. We're providing everything our athletes need to be the best student athletes they can be.
From Spoiled in Riverside. Just opened up our new location off the 91 in Arlington and Riverside. Come check us out and get spoiled for a change.
Welcome back to the Mike's Fitness Equipment Studio. It's the Inland Sports Show.
And welcome back to the Mike's Fitness Equipment Studio. It looks a little different, right? Because we're on the road at Thee Rancho Verde High School, the Inland Sports Show, going on the road with our friends at Teen Vision, TV16, RVTV, Steve Brockman, the video teacher, the professor here at Thee Rancho Verde High School, making it happen here as we go on the road with the Inland Sports Show. And again, a very special football playoff edition as we go into the quarterfinals. But it's not all football. We do have some basketball to pass along real quick because it's a big week for local basketball. California Baptist Going on the road. It's a huge week of road games for the Lancers. First, they played at the University of Texas, the Longhorns, last night, and they gave Texas all they could handle. 67-54 was the final. Texas wins, but not by much, as CBU really made a statement going on the road to a very tough place, the home of Kevin Durant, right? There's been some great Texas basketball teams, but CBU held its own. Now they go on the road to Pac-12 country. They're going to play on the road at the California Golden Bears later this week. And for UC Riverside, the Highlanders are 2-0 to start the season. They won on the road at Nebraska. They come back home and they beat the Idaho Vandals. So when you look at local basketball between CBU and UCR, man, it's been a great start. Both these basketball teams are off to great beginnings in 2019-2020 seasons. Can they keep it up? They're going to play head-to-head. We should have a fantastic matchup when they go head-to-head in the Crosstown Showdown. But UCR is going to play at Sac State this week and Pacific, so up north in Northern California. And again, CBU will play on the road at the California Golden Bears, so they'll actually be up, both of them up in Northern California this week to continue these strong starts for both of the programs. Couldn't be happier for Coach David Patrick at UCR and Rick Croy, the head basketball coach at CBU. Man, great programs, both playing good basketball, and we're fired up about it here in the Inland Empire. Again, big thanks to our friends here at RV TV and Steve Brockman and his team, and Teen Vision TV 16, Johnny Nunez and his crew, bringing everybody over to make it happen here at Thee Rancho Verde High School. We do appreciate it. My name is Pep Fernandez, and we will see you next time on the Inland Sports Show.